Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. I have my big box, and there's more than this of Billy Sarstead calculators, and I haven't been able to sort of do as many as I want. I've been a bit poorly, and it takes a lot of time, and my shelves are so full. I'm just scared to sort of take these out of the box because I don't know if I'll put them down, they might get lost. So I've been a bit slow on that, but I'm going to have a sort out, a clear out, and try to get a little process going. And I might need to process them in much smaller batches in the future because I get confused. Anyway, here is a Casio CC-120U world time clock, and if I recall from the description, it was pretty obvious why this one wasn't working. So hopefully it won't tax my brain too much. But let's have a look-see. I'm going to be a bit delicate with it. I think this is the one, I remember seeing this when I did an unboxing of it, where, yeah, it slides out. Nice little wallet there. Ooh, already I can feel a mischief. Yeah, it looks like the front screen is definitely not quite happy there. Ah, yeah. And there you go. That's going to cause all sorts of problems, isn't it? So if you don't have the screen on, or rather the front panel, it's not going to hold all your bits in. But the thing I've noticed, of course, is that we don't seem to have anything on the actual display here. So it does have a battery in it, but I think the first thing to do would be to probably remove this battery, and we'll try putting a fresh one in first, because, you know, often with these things, oh, it's a 2016. They're particularly thin. I do tend to buy the 2032s, which are significantly thicker. And if you see them, look, yeah. But I'm going to try to put in the 32, but just without a battery holder. And up, positive. Hang on, let's have a look. See, don't want to get this the wrong way now, polarity wise. I don't think it can go in that way. Yeah, it have to be that way. It only makes sense actually if you look at the way this is done, that the edge and the center tap would have to be the different way around. So it'd probably be like this. And ever so gently, I think I can get this in. Let's just. Oop. Yes, I can. And there you go. Look, calculator is instantly active. And that's pretty much good enough for me, confirmation that it's a working device. So this will be a relatively simple fix, hopefully, because it just means we have to sort of bond that screen onto the rest of the unit. And we're quite fortunate in that there's only a little bit of detritus. Now, I still haven't found my bloody scalpel blades. You might have watched a video a while back where I went through and was basically saying, look, I've got these great scalpel blades, and I'm going to put them very safe because I don't want to lose them. And instantly I've lost the entire packet of scalpel blades. So just going to clean up that there, which is probably not bad actually, having a blunt scalpel blade for, because you don't need a massive amount of bite to scrape something, and it does save it from digging in. So we've got that nice and clear there. I'm just going to clean this little edge there, because that screen has to sort of fit within that rebate. So we don't want it to plop out. I think I actually just remembered where all the scalpel blades are. Let me have a quick check. I'm just going over to my super safe thingy, and no. Oh well, that was worth a punt. I thought it might be where I keep my pens. Pens are friends, of course. Let's put that over there. Now, this is a more trickier proposition for us because, of course, you can see the adhesive has a layer on here. Oh, look at that! I can just get rid of it. It's like a fibrous layer. But my ability to sort of get this off the whole region cleanly is probably quite unlikely, so we might have to revert to chemicals, and I don't really want to use chemicals because that's going to damage those carbon contacts. So I might need to do the next best thing, and that is to, I'm going to be very cautious here, I'm not putting much pressure on here, so even though I'm pulling the blade towards myself, I'm not too worried about it sort of slashing off. Let me get a piece of wood underneath it here. Right. This is just to sort of take it off the deck a little bit so I can get under it with my knife here. So what I'm planning on is basically maybe if I can get enough of the glue off around the edge, I can put a strip of glue in strategic places. So rather than try to glue the whole thing, I'll put some double-sided tape, you know, strategically in a sort of mesh pattern, and then that will allow us to still get this working, and I think it will have sufficient adhesion that it will not give any problems going forward. Just put it, you know, if you consider how little adhesion this has got now, you can't make this much worse, but you certainly can make it worse if you try to go a bit overboard and remove everything and you end up denting this panel. That's definitely what I'm trying to avoid right now. And I certainly do not want to kill any more calculators or ancient devices, because it doesn't give me a warm feeling when I do. So you can see I'm doing it quite as a sort of strip. I'm doing it as an even strip here, so it's going to be easier for me to cut a strip of tape to fit that. It's a nice clean looking edge. Just going to give it a firm brushing. So we want to make sure though when we come around to actually putting the tape on that all of these little bits that are sticking up are removed, because they're definitely just going to give us grief. And look here, there's an interesting bit here. It's got this extra bit of tape here to sort of put a bit of pressure on the battery. So that's how much force this piece of metal actually has to exert. I mean, it's not just trivial. It actually has to exert pressure on the battery, which is going to be a problem if it's just floppy and loose like now. There we go, look, got under it. I'm taking a lot of care now not to touch anywhere near our carbon contacts. Now, there is a danger looking at it. Depending on the sort of tape you use, you can see when you press those buttons that it relies on that part touching the PCB. And if you use thick tape, it might not deform enough to actually touch those. So I'm hoping it's not going to be a problem for us. So I'm going to leave all of the adhesive here just to act as the correct spacing, and then the only risk, because of the sort of slightly thicker tape, is around the edge. I think we'll be okay. And of course it also prevents if you're using tape that's thinner than the adhesive, and the button's just permanently touching the PCB. Alright, so I think that's a good strip. Clean there now, so we're pretty much halfway. See if we can get around here. I mean, I miss the sort of ye olden days where, you know, they were quite skilled with metal craft, weren't they? You know, all these manufacturers using all these very thin pieces of metal in interesting ways. I mean, they're slightly, obviously they're very fragile, and you've got to be careful. And there's a bit of dust I noticed on the screen. I added some, and there was some when it came here, so I'm going to try to dust that out. But yeah, we don't do this sort of precision thing anymore, really. I mean, we do have mobile phones, of course, and there's a lot of factory, like robot precision required, you know, I'm sure in the factories that make the screens. But this has that sort of element of the sort of human touch to it, doesn't it? This is sort of metal work. This is sort of using a fine material and actually using manual, might be being made by robots, but it's actually human things, so it's pressing them and it's doing stuff like that. It's not doing fancy injection mold 3D print things. So it's basically emulating a manual process, whereas I think a lot of modern things now you can't even have manual processes for. They are made by robots for robots. So we don't have to scrape too much here, because you see this circle there, that's actually where the speaker is, so there's no adhesive there, so we might just Might just try to fit a strip there behind those buttons, but we'll play it by ear. Oh yeah, look, this is all coming off though in one piece. So let's not look a gift horse in the mouth, take that all off. And we've just got this one piece here where the battery is, which will be, let's say, pleasant to remove that, won't it? Get that off there. Yes, that's a nice strip. And the last one I think I'm going to do is just here by our buttons, so they've got a bit more adhesion here. That's basically giving you the battery bay, sort of both sides of the battery bay, a bit of support. And that's the last bit there. Finally, the last bit there. I think that's good. Hey, hoi, ha, ho! You saw that flex there. Ooh. Wasn't quite careful enough there. I just caught that edge, caught that lip, and it could have been all over then. Whew. You see what I mean about this? It causes me stress in my life here. That's interesting. I'm not sure these little holes for. I thought they were for poking through. You know, like poking something through from the other side, like a reset button or something. But it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Weird. Oh, unless there was no. Strange. I've been taking a lot of care over these holes, but there doesn't seem to be any purpose for them. I think they might have just been retasked. You know, like maybe they made this panel for something else, and that would have been the set and alarm button or something. Right, I'm just gonna gently touch that with a brush, but I'm basically taking a corner of a t-shirt and very gently, cause it's cotton, rubbing that screen just to see if that dust is on the inside or the outside, and I think it looks to be on the outside, so pretty happy about that. In fact, I'm just going to give it another little rub again off the screen. My t-shirt doesn't extend out far enough. And I know all of you at home have t-shirt technology, so yeah, it's pretty good. I'm seeing some sort of smeary stuff, but with like fingerprints, but it has to be on the outside at this point. So, Billy, that's as good as it's going to get, I'm afraid. We'll clean off the outside afterwards. So, and then while I'm at it, you can see there's a bit of dust on here too. Let's get that clean, and again, rubbing my t-shirt on it. That's got it nice and clean. Interestingly enough, look at this tape. Just notice this tape's sticking up. That's scary, isn't it? Scary tape sticking up. Bit of a blow on it. Still some bloody dust. I need a more dust-free environment, really. But there, I mean, that's fine. Okay, going to look in my shelf of tapes now, and I suspect I'm going to use our old favourite 3M tape today. Now, this is where I probably wish I did have my much sharper scalpel blade and much cleaner working area. So because when you're putting tape down, you're going to attract all sorts of dust. So I'm going to go for a fresh piece of A4 paper. Let's go for a fresh piece of A4 paper down on the deck. We're going to do that. That's our assembly area. It's obviously high precision, high quality here in the back office, of course. Not. But yeah, I do try. I do like to sort of at least get something half decent. Still a bit of dust on that screen though. I'm going to catch that before I assemble it finally. And I'm just going to do, I guess, quite rough cuts. I'm not going to try to cut it beforehand. I think I might just try to stick it to the deck like this. There we go. And then I'm going to try to just use a scalpel knife and cut around it and I'm well aware of the bluntness of my existing scalpel blade, so I might need to put a bit more effort into searching for those missing blades to do this job. There is a lip on the edge of this metal piece though, so you don't really want to damage that lip. There we go. You have to be aware, of course, that the board, the back office board that we're on, the wooden board, isn't actually totally flat because it has that laser engraved region. So I might just slide us over and to a more detritus-free area. There we go. That looks pretty good. And I think one more. Trying to find the edge. How much of your life is spent trying to find the edge, eh? I'm going to do a bit more here. Now the reason I said only one more is because I kind of think the remaining bits need some consideration, of course, because they are fitting in around the battery in these regions. So I'm just going to now take quite a lot more care. Because I still didn't measure it though, I just sort of still doing it by eye. Taking a lot more care, but not actually measuring. But I think that looks spot on. There, I think that's going to be good. Good choice, good place to put some of that. I think that's okay. And then we have one more length here to do, and I just eyeballed it and instantly lost my reference as I turn that round. Just going to put my tape up on the shelf again, assuming I won't need any more, but I probably will. Oh, that's pretty good. I think it would be nice though, wouldn't it, just to get one more piece in there as I intended. That one I might pre-cut because I don't really want to get in there with the scalpel knife blade and mess with it. So I'm just going to trim it down. Now the problem with this, every time it's touching your finger, of course, you're losing a little tiny touch of adhesion, which is a shame. Right, bit long, but it's okay. We'll deal with that. In fact, it's not a bit long. It's not just a bit long. It's also a bit overlappy on there, and I can feel it. You can feel there's a thickness. So we're going to get our scalpel blade now, and I'm going to be quite ginger with this. Again, I don't want to push so hard it damages something on the other side. Though it is quite blunt. Let's get rid of that. And I'm going to try to run it along here. Do 2 passes just to make sure it's got the message. So that's the actual paper, but I actually want to take the adhesive layer off as well. I don't want the adhesive there just because it's going to add a bit of thickness near that part which I mentioned earlier I want to avoid. So there, we've got that away. So we'll remove that. It's like a sticky thing you can't get rid of. So the process now, I'm just going to make sure everything else is kind of stuck down, is a case of just kind of cutting it. So trying to find an edge. You can see the edge here. I'm hoping we're inboard there, but hard to tell. Guess we'll know soon enough. So I could try to remove this actually. Let's move the backing paper, see how far we are. That's not bad. We're pretty much in. You can see the foil edge there. And we've got to find where's the bottom. How far can we go here till we get to the bottom? Just going to look at an angle here. Quite far, I think that should do the trick. Do the same trick there. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. We're scooting through this. It's not bad. It's not taking too long. Got a busy day planned today. It's obviously bright and early at the moment. But it is one of those days. It's one of those family days. I did promise to go do something. So it's nice to get a few done. A few calculators done first thing. Oh, look at that. I almost was worried there was no sticky on there, but it is. That is precision stickiness there. And I think that's all. You know, that's basically, should be able to now. Just going to run it through around the edge again, just to make sure all the adhesive on these is willing to let go now properly. So we can lift the calculator and move it. Oops. Oh yeah, we do have to cut this one a little bit closer to the edge. Make sure it's cut. Because theoretically now we should be able to lift this. Come on. Let's turn it round. I'm just going to, I know my hand's going to be obscuring you a minute, but I just have to I just want to get in here and see what's holding it. Yeah, there's a little bit of an edge on the adhesive because I cut it inboard. So I do have to work it slightly. I'm bending the screen very slightly. If you're doing this, be careful because you've got a lot of stickiness going on and you're holding a scalpel blade in your hand trying to slice, albeit a very blunt scalpel blade in this case. Look at that, that's coming off now. I'm trying desperately not to bend this too much. There we go. Now if you've got a laser cutter you could technically try to cut this out like a gasket. That's a lot of effort for one calculator. But you can do it. If you were tasked, if this was your job to restore this calculator and you were getting paid to do it and you had to do it properly for a museum, yeah, definitely you could use a laser. That would be kind of cool. Right, let's move it over now to this other bit of paper, a bit cleaner edge of paper. So we've got sticky there, and we're just going to now reveal the sticky elsewhere. And there's a little extra piece there. Let's get rid of it now. It's going to be a lot easier to get rid of it now than get rid of it later, so I'm going to just put the scalpel around that edge and try to remove these sort of bogies of glue. There we go, that's it, nicely done. So that's looking good, still looking good on that side, as good as it was anyway. We might be able to give it a good old clean billy after this, because I'm guessing it was hard to give it a rub down before when it was all loose and flopping off. So just remove now the backing paper, without of course removing the underlying adhesive. So I'm working my way from one end to the other. That's my strategy at the moment. Hopefully a winning strategy. It might not be. These scalpel blades are great size, by the way. These are the 15Ts on a size 3 handle. 15T blade on a size 3 handle. Swan Morton. Definitely, in my book, the best winning combination for electronics and calculator repair. It's sort of fine enough, it gets in where you need it to get in. I'm just aware I've just put that on there. Ugh. That slipped over onto that sticky patch. Come on, get off you. And yeah, my only regret of course is just hiding the blades away so they're safe from you know, my kids or whatever, and losing them. So make sure you get plenty, get extras to sort of cover that attrition due to you forgetting where you put them. Right, okay, let's plop this on. I mean, that's it now. So we've got our screen, and it's just going to hold it up to the light again. I mean, it looks pretty clean. I've wiped it down on the back side, so I'm hoping all the dirt and things I see are on the front side, but sorry Billy if there's going to be some sort of ingress there. I don't know. It looks like there's some marks there, but I can't tell. I've cleaned the inside enough that I think it's not there. Oh, one last quick wipe down, I think. Yeah, I mean, look, if it's on the inside, I don't know, then it's staying on the inside at that point. Let's try to fit this now. Obviously, we don't want to have to move this around once it's started to sit in there. And so I'm just working my way around the edges, because of course there's a lip. You want to make sure it's sitting in the lip, and it is. It's sitting nicely on all the lips there. And just going to put some even pressure with the heel of my hand across. That's nice. That's looking nice. Just going to put the battery holder in. Just give it a bit of strength there. That'll let me, you know, push that now without worrying about buckling that in. That's looking good. Let me get a little cloth to give it a quick wipe. One day I'll move some of these things a bit closer, and I'm going to apply onto my cloth a tiny bit of label remover. It's my sort of solvent of choice. Just to give it very gentle, and I'm being a bit cautious just in case it sort of takes off the colour or something. Look at that. That's looking wonderful, isn't it? I think we've done it, Jim. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. And there, a little bit of dirt came off too, and that's looking sparkly clean. It smells lemon fresh. Billy, I don't know if you ever noticed this, any of your calculators I send back to smell lemon fresh, because the label remover is based on a sort of lemon solvent or something. Now, we did have this battery and it didn't do anything, so let's get a multimeter on here and let's see what's up with that. What's up with that? So we're on our volt range. 0.352 volts. Just to sort of show you what it should be. Well, I was going to show you what it should be, but it seems to be lying. Let's try this. Maybe my meter needs some batteries. Yeah, 3 volts. Try this one again. 0.3. So just have a quick look. Billy does send batteries. He did send me a card of batteries in the old box here. I'm just rooting through it off camera. Off camera, not to disturb anything. And I see a pack of batteries, but I think they are the wrong kind. So, yeah, I'm almost sort of tempted to not find the right batteries and just say, yeah, let's go for broke on this one. Darn it! I can't test it. I can't test the calculator. I don't have the batteries. I don't have that thickness. That's really annoying. I'm going to try a little trick though. I've always wanted to know if it'll do it, and it might be. I think I've done this in the past, and it's basically trying to recharge these old batteries. Yeah, don't emulate this. It's dangerous. Could blow up in your face. Positive down. What I'm going to do, I've got bench power supply here, and it's putting out about 3 volts. And I'm going to just basically see what happens if I put the power supply into that battery. And it is drawing a little bit of current there. Not a huge amount. But I have on past sort of rejuvenated briefly some battery cells this way, where you can actually use them for a small amount of time. I don't know how long it took. I definitely can't remember how long it took. And I certainly can't really remember what sort of voltage you'd be trying to use to do it. It'd be nice to actually monitor the temperature just to see if there's a sort of temperature increase there as well. So let's sticky. Let's just see if that did anything at all. Got the voltmeter. Gonna flip the battery over. It's not warm, not nothing. Not nothing. Look. 3 volts. Giving us some 3 volts. Might be just enough to sort of put in this calculator and give us our test we want for you, Billy. So I'm going to pop that in there, pop that in there. Ready for the moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. And there you go, the world time clock. And not sure if it's what we're supposed to be seeing when I push these. Oh yeah, it is doing it. The buttons do work. See there, see in the bottom left, it's going tick, 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 tick. Yeah, it does. Moscow, Cairo, Paris, London. So that's selecting the time zones at the top. And then mode, I guess, is for setting the... oh yes, it's a set. I don't know if you have to hold it. I see set flash up briefly. So I don't know how that works. But yeah, Billy, you'll figure that out. That's your calculator, mate. There you go. Hopefully that's of some use to you. And if you've got a Casio World Time CC-102, well, 120U, yeah, give it a fix. It's an easy fix. And I'm sure this will fix many Casio calculators with similar construction. As ever, everybody, keep on calculating. And thanks for watching. And just to show you, I forgot, look, it slips into here nice, and that's quite good because that will keep that all compressed together. And this stand here, of course, you can slip in there and use it as a desktop stand for that. Wonderful. Lovely gadget. Thanks for sending it.